All right, we're back. We're reading Almost Odis by me, Dusty Thompson. If you're following along, the next blog starts on page 155. It's dated Thursday, August the 2nd, 2012. It's really political, and so you can read it. I don't want to get into political discussions online. As a healthcare executive for the federal government, I'm not allowed to be political online, so I'm not going to be. We're going to just skip right past that one and all the photos that are next in the book. And we're going to start on page 167. It's the blog dated Sunday, August 5th, 2012. Forced Lesson in Anatomy. And this, I think, is my favorite blog I ever wrote. I still laugh about it, and it happened to me. This past week, friends from the East Coast were in town, and I spent the day with them in the city, otherwise known as San Francisco. Jane and Mark had decided we would spend part of the day exploring the touristy things like the trolley and Lombard Street. They also wanted to rent bikes and ride across the Golden Gate Bridge to Sausalito and then take the ferry back. For reasons I still haven't quite figured out, and I still don't know why. I agreed and met them on Wednesday morning. We walked a mile or so from their hotel to the beginning of the trolley lines. Since my weight loss, walking this far is not a big deal. It used to be a chore to walk anywhere, forgetting something in my car once I was inside my loft to the height of my weight, 422 pounds, and sickness, sarcoidosis, was the cause for stress, anger, tears, and the realization I could live without said item until the following day unless it was food. Then I would send my trained parakeet Excelsior to fetch the foodstuffs. Full disclosure, it wasn't a parakeet, and his name is Christopher, my long-suffering best friend. Hey, Chris, we miss you. I'm down to 200 pounds and not afraid of a little exercise, and I wish I was still at 200 pounds. Whew, those were the days. And I thought I was fully capable of accepting whatever challenge lay before me. And all was good until we hit mile 2 on the bikes. Ignoring the fact that everyone looks ridiculous in a bike helmet, I realized far too late to rectify the situation that the seat of my bike was made of apparently a new material, an iron/cactus hybrid. My butt cheeks were in agony, y'all. And we already know it's not very big. There's a lot of pain in that little bitty booty. We have previously discussed my lack of hindquarters inherited from the dad, and I can assure you the sad remnants of my butt that never was were on fire. If my butt could talk, there would have been choice words, dear readers, choice words indeed. According to Jane, or as I call her, BJ, my doctor, she is my mentor still, and one of my mamas. George W.'s former physical therapist, she was. I am bereft of developed quads. It seems although outwardly I look like I am in reasonable shape, I am more akin to an Olympic spectator than to, say, an Olympic athlete. Apparently there are different muscles you use when pedaling than you do in walking. Who knew? Apparently there are many who didn't major in a liberal art in college. All this time I thought a quad was the grassy section in the middle of college campuses and movies that need a central point so the completely implausible couple can meet cute. If that couple had gone to the college where I received my undergraduate degree, Mississippi University for Women, or the W, hey, go Blues. The meeting would have taken place in the cafeteria, and the adorable words he or she would have attempted to utter would have been drowned out by the voices of 300 people, mostly women, singing. We sang a lot at the W, y'all, for real. Now quadless and suddenly fully aware, I wondered, could people tell I had immature quads? Is it a bad thing? Do I want mature quads? I decided yes, I did. Should I be ashamed I don't have them? Would my legs have hurt anyway? And what does this have to do with my butt hurting? Are your quads linked to your butt like that whole leg bone thigh bone song? Can one acquire quads? According to Jane, yes you can, but it requires things like squats, lunges, and mountain climbers. I remember all too well those horrible things from my kickboxing classes, and I have sworn literally on more than one occasion I shall never again partake in any of this vile germ-related activity. Of course, never say never. Ben just started me on an exercise regimen this past week. Apparently I can be shamed in exercising. Thank you, baby, for making me skinny. Well, hopefully I'll be skinny at some point. Thank you in advance. However, I'm a trooper, as Jane continuously said, and I pressed onward and upward, seriously upward, like scaling the side of a mountain. Have you seen the Golden Gate Bridge? It's tall, y'all, and I'm not talking like water tower tall. I'm talking like State Fair roller coaster tall. Don't judge me. Have you tried to ride a bike fabricated in some evil Eastern European factory to torment capitalist pigs in America to the top of a Ferris wheel without a break for water or a panini? What? I was hungry from all the quad development. Full disclosure, I pretty much walked the bike to the top of the hill to get to the bridge. I had tried everything to stay on the seat. I pedaled fiercely and then stood on the pedals and coasted. I even tried to ride side saddle. It was as successful as you would imagine. So I created my own rhythm, if you will. I would bike until I could no longer take the pain, which is around 5 minutes, and then I would leap, stumble from the bike, and push it along. Now, anyone else would have been irritated to stop and wait for me to catch up, but Jane and her boyfriend at the time are very patient and very much in love. They were. If they weren't so darn adorable, it would be sickening. Once we got over the middle of the Golden Gate Bridge, I was assured, nay, promised, that it was all downhill to Sausalito. Lies. Okay, there was some truth to the downhillness of the other side of the bridge, but they didn't mention the continual use of the brake due to the crazed pedestrians who were either high or stupid or both. Everyone seemed to have the reaction time of a pothead. For those not in the know, that means slow, like Aunt Maudie blowing out her 95th birthday candles, like waiting for Christmas morning when you're 8 years old slow. Back then, it was only medicinal marijuana was legal. Now they could deliver it to your house. These heathens are smoking it up out here. And although medicinal marijuana is legal in California, I find it hard to believe there's been an outbreak of glaucoma among the 20-somethings in the Bay Area. Once we left the confines of the bridge, I was once again assured of the downhill journey and the fun that was in store. Again, lies and vicious rumors. There was a slight downward change in grade, but not enough to have recalculated the vectors or tensile strength or other random things I vaguely remember as a journalism major taking physics in college. Once I walked my bike through the remainder of the path before reaching the road into Sausalito, I realized the path they encouraged us to take was not a path at all. It wasn't even a narrow designated lane beside the road. There wasn't even a shoulder for the road. We simply rode in the road as if we were cars. As the people behind me came to realize, I am the vehicular equivalent of a 77th Plymouth Volare with faulty brakes and a driver who learned to use the standard on the column a full 15 minutes before getting in front of them. Then suddenly there was a downhill, a frontally steep downhill. And I'm not talking roller coaster steep, I'm talking steep like the side of the mountain they raced down at the end of Better Off Dead with John Cusack movie from the 80s. That's far, y'all. Using gravity for its purpose, I flew past both Jane and Mark due to my lack of familiarity with proper braking techniques and my zeal to de-bike. I leapt from the velocipede, that's British, and walked it reasonably quickly considering I had just escorted it 10 miles or so, through the quaint overpriced town, my final destination, the reservation desk for the ferry to take me back to the mainland so I could release the beast to its owners and flee as quickly as one can, having walked a bicycle 627 miles it takes to cross the longest bridge in the known universe. Having been rebuffed in my quest for something other than first come, first served seating, I left my bike on the rack, unlocked, hoping against hope someone would steal it and I would be free. Free, brothers and sisters! The $100 deposit would have been worth it. I almost felt compelled to throw the bike in the water and feign ignorance of its whereabouts. Truth be told, I hadn't ridden on a bike since the age of around 11, and I remembered quite vividly the reasons, and they were twofold, each representing a butt cheek. I have never felt pain quite like this, people. It was as if an angry nightclub bouncer had punched me in the butt crack, if you'll allow a vulgar metaphor. After some great Mexican food, guacamole can soothe even the most ravaged beast, Jane, Mark, and I walked those wretched bikes onto the ferry, and once we landed back on the pier, we carried them up a flight of stairs, no, I don't know why either, and found ourselves at Pier 1, the actual pier, not the Trinity Home Goods store. We were supposed to have arrived at Pier 41, which is where we rented these torture devices. Here's a tip for the people running Guantanamo Bay. Forget waterboarding. Simply rent a bike and make the prisoners ride across the Golden Gate Bridge. Those sing like canaries. Canaries that have been punched in the butt crack. For real. It's only a 7-minute ride to Pier 41, chirped, thinking she was being helpful but realizing it wasn't true when she saw my facial expression young lady who greeted us at the information booth. Ever the trooper, I attempted to saddle up once more. It was not to be. The buttocks made one last valiant effort to throw me from the bike, and I was compelled to do what made the most sense to me. I hired a pedicab to pedal me holding the bike to the rental stand. And that was for real. I literally rode in a bike pedal cab, holding a bicycle in my lap. I was tired, y'all, my butt hurt, for real. I was so tired and hurting, I begged off dinner and returned home where I made the mistake of telling the dad what happened. As I write this, he is still laughing, and he still laughs about it today. And if my physical pain won't get me a hastily organized prayer circle, my shame should at least get me on the prayer list somewhere near Aunt Maudie. She's 95, it's an assumption. Full disclosure, I don't have an Aunt Maudie. If I did, she'd be dead right now. But anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks.